Hey, good night, everyone. Good evening to another episode of the Stay at Home Dad podcast. My name is Kess Ramsey. It's a pleasure to have you guys on with me again this evening. Thanks for you guys that are on right now on the live. I really appreciate you guys coming on and spending the evening with me every Wednesday. So before I go any further, before I forget like last week, let me big up my sponsor, Mercury Tech. You can check them out on Instagram for all your technical stuff. If you are a little, what's it like, the ring lights for the TikTokers and the makeup artists and all that, you could check them out. Stuff like that, ring lights and even sanitization stuff. You can check them out with that. All right. So, coming on with me tonight is somebody that I have looked up to almost my entire life. Somebody that has pioneered gospel music, not just in Trinidad, but around the Caribbean and pushed it, I would even say it around the world. The guest tonight is somebody that I see as a big brother, somebody that I see that I look up to, somebody that I really admire in his persistence over the years in gospel music. And that is none other than Mr. Sherwin Gardner. Good night to
What's
you,
up?
sir.
What's up? Good to be on the inside, man. Good to be. It's been a while.
Yeah,
Good to
yeah.
hear. And too, that's the next thing.
That's what we're talking about, man. I'm always here to make sure that you could get some Trini dialect in your life, brother. Anytime you need some, you could call me, man.
Well, I'm in the Bahamas and I found a roti shop the other day. I rate them a 60%. 60. Yeah, they're not that bad, you know. I could understand because it's hard to get the seasonings right now,
It
but
edible.
yeah. The skin on point.
All
Oh,
right. Well,
something little
well,
curry.
at least something working, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
So, Sherwin, how has COVID treated you so far? Let me start off there. How has the
Um,
pandemic affected your everyday running?
Firstly, let me say blessings to everybody and thanks for having me. Um, well, for those who don't know, and those of you in Trinidad, I live in the Bahamas. I'm the worship leader at Bahamas Harvest Church. So shout out to my church, my pastor, Pastor Mario Moxie. Um, I have been here for like maybe this is going on 2 years. So me being a worship leader in church, I also travel and you know get bookings different countries. Right before COVID, I was supposed to in 2020. I supposed to do Amsterdam, Belgium, France, and then the UK, and that had to be cancelled. So a lot of shows was cancelled, but you know I wouldn't say it totally affected me in any way because it gave me the opportunity not just to rest but to grow spiritually because you had to stay home, be in
Yeah.
church, and do what you had to do for the kingdom. I'm in a church that is very progressive. We always working on souls and winning souls, and we do a lot. So we've been streaming, we've been feeding people, helping people because we had a hurricane last
Yeah.
year, a bad one. So a lot of things been happening, but it just gave me the opportunity to focus on my album, focus on working on my ministry, but at the same time doing what I have to do in the kingdom here at home. I didn't get COVID, but I know a lot of people, even some people in our church and some people on the worship team, different people who got it. So you had to go through all of that, at the same time, and being a leader in church, being able to adjust on the fly, being able to make changes, because we haven't been doing in person like Trinidad in our church yet.
Okay.
We were too, and then someone got sick, so we
Wow.
had to shut that down. You know what I mean? So we've been consistently doing
Online.
online groups, online Bible study, online everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So making decisions and making sure that you impact lives is what really we had to
So
do.
let me ask you, there was a video going around with a pastor, but I think it was a priest, basically bashing the congregation because they only picked up $200 in offering. Has the Lord not been good to you? Was that your past?
No, that, that wasn't my pastor. Definitely not.
bro, I was so weak. The man, like, the next thing he would have say, well, everybody come up one by one and put out your hand for licks. Like, that was the next step.
That wasn't here.
Wow.
That was it. That was interesting though. I'll have to find out who that
I'll,
was.
I'll send you the clip. I'll send you the clip as soon as we done. I'll send you the clip, bro. That's crazy.
Nice. Yeah, so I can verify who it is for you.
So, the intellect Sherwin Gardner. Where you came up with the name? Why you came up? Why you chose to put the intellect? Is it that you
Well,
say, boy, my head bald, I's a young man, I just real smart? What was he thinking behind putting the intellect as your stage name?
so that was never my stage name. I didn't give myself that
Okay,
name
okay.
actually. So this was when 98.1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were on AM,
Yeah.
and then I think the first time they moved over to FM, it would have been 94.1, I think, at that
Yeah.
time, right? And there's this young girl, but I think her name was Rochelle. So it was Jamie, it was Rochelle, it was CJ from CJ and Lucky, and a few other people were on. Because I used to freestyle, make up stuff on the spot, she used to say every time she announcing the songs when she is bringing me on stage, she used to call me the intellect.
Okay.
Um, and that's how that name came. And then I just kind of run with it and started saying the intellect again now. Because that was basically maybe in 1998, 99, so that's some years, bro.
Yeah.
That's some.
So it's you started singing, I believe around like 11. That's the age that I have found. Tell me if that's true or is before that.
Yeah, you're a little off. I started at 5
5.
in church at. Yeah, so the first time I sang in publicly would have been a Sunday morning in church. My uncle is like this. The Saturday evening, we were doing a little competition home by my grandparents at that time. With all is a big. I'm from a big family, so my mother is from a family of 15.
Hmm.
So it's plenty cousins, nephews, everybody. And then what happened was my uncle heard me singing. We were singing for biscuits, bro. Rough Tops. Uh, and my uncle heard me singing, and then he was like, "Whoa, you could sing." Put me to sing the next day, but this old lady came. So when I used to be making jokes with you guys and Kieran and everybody, and I was saying you can get $1 for that.
Oh.
That actually came from this old lady came to me and put $1 in my pocket and said, "This will be the first seed sown into your life for the millions that you're gonna make in the future." So
Right.
I used to just tell somebody if they do something
You
good,
got
you'll
a lot
get a
for
dollar
that.
for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
That's what that came from, you know what I mean? So,
All right. Well, Granny started off with $1, but she could have started with a little something more, 5 something by
bro, back in
a
them
dollar.
days, $1 is plenty, right?
True.
$1 is a big seed, you
True. True.
understand? Well, Bourbon wasn't on yet because I'll be 5. So that was like real sweets, real
Yeah, yeah,
junk you
yeah,
can
yeah,
get.
yeah.
Dollar was, I was like, that's almost like giving my $20
Nowadays.
or maybe 50. Well, nowadays it would be a 50.
True. Bro, I remember um 10 cents chewing one thing like you could have get stuff for like 10 cents and 5 cents in the shop. No, you can't. It
Of
have
course,
nothing you could get for them small change,
not one. There's
A
nothing
Bobby
at all.
is $2 a
Correct,
Bobby.
correct.
So yeah, times has changed, and it just kind of
Mhm.
shows how long you have been pushing gospel music in the Caribbean. So from me, and I think from everybody who has ever listened to anything that you put out or has been impacted by your music, bro, we just want to say thanks from me to you. thanks for the push over the years, because I don't know if the people that I know in gospel today would be where they are now if not for people like yourself. So big up to you, bro, and just know that you're appreciated. That's just, let me start off there.
Yeah, and honestly, but it's been a journey. Like I've seen the journey throughout the years because I'm still doing gospel. I've seen the journey of gospel music in Trinidad and Tobago uh, consistently change in many ways. When I started at 5 years old, you had Peter Regis,
Yeah,
you had Nicole Ballasing was always a veteran
yeah,
from long days. I don't know if you know that the pastor from Miracle Ministries,
right.
um, what's his name? Oh my gosh, I could forget his name. But the Winzian
Yeah,
father,
yeah, yeah.
they had a group as well.
Okay.
They used to sing as well, and they
Be
were
big.
pretty big.
So
These were some of the
these were some
people
of the people
I would have been meeting in shows as a little boy, and they always used to like push me and give me that little, yeah, go. And those days I wasn't doing any reggae or anything like that. I
Yeah,
was more doing contemporary gospel. So it would have been "To God Be the Glory," "Tomorrow," "People Need the Lord,"
yeah.
um, and that kind of stuff. But move from there, then came Angela Williams, then came Pastor Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now some of these people wasn't there from the start when I started.
Yeah,
I meet them along the way. So I was already there. I know a lot of people think because they're older than me, they were there before me. No, they wasn't. Some of them were there. So when I say I really see the transition of gospel, Renaissance was another group. Some of these groups you would know. Earl Phillip, a guy who died some years ago, he was also a comedian.
mm-hmm.
Um, he used to be in Tuna Puna. He was one of the guys who would always be around in shows, always be the MC, always be pushing gospel music. DJ Space was one of them from
All
Foundation,
right.
been there from the start. So moving from there, reggae for me started in high school. So it was when Kiskidi Caravan came out. So this was in 1990. Now, you know as Kiskidi Caravan?
No, sir. I just start to call you sir, boy.
Wow. Yes, I don't believe you. But then this young generation really don't know how far it came.
Hey.
So when Pastor Coffee, somebody
Yeah,
just
Pastor Coffee, yeah.
Broadway Boys, my auntie Lydia is here. Broadway Boys came late. They
Brother,
didn't reach
I
yet.
know Brother Boys. Like,
They didn't
so,
reach. They didn't reach this picture yet. They
yeah.
came down the line with Melchizedek. So these years, when I was in school, this would have been in 92, 93.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Kiskidi Caravan was where General Grant and all these other people, Dan It Up, everything, Dan It
Yeah.
Up, right? Those songs, they are the Kiskidi Caravan. So what it
Okay.
was this studio started to get this whole vibe of young people, General Grant, all of them, and they started to do the Kiskidi Caravan, going from different towns, Arima, Sando, different places, doing concerts and shows. When Kiskidi Caravan came up and they start playing local dancehall in maxi taxis, it started this wave or movement in schools, in junior sects and everything, where guys wanted to start to do reggae and dancehall because now there's a platform.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So when that happened, because I could sing, I would have been the sing J. So everybody doing the da 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 da, and Sherwin Gardner will just
You
come and just be
community.
like, the little sweet vibes.
Yeah,
You
sweet
understand?
voice
But
in the mix.
I never know that God was kind of just molding me in school
Yeah.
to get me into reggae. Because for me, I never used to write reggae songs. I just used to freestyle. So I going home, hearing the beats, and I just like say, I remember one song I used to sing in school. You are my lady, driving me crazy, always on my mind. Gotta be fine, I need you right away. Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So all these little things I'm making up in my head, and that's how I really get to start doing reggae. So I was writing songs from 11, 12. So imagine me writing songs. I was writing more contemporary songs. my writing start to shift
Yeah.
and move. And at the same time, I'm also a barber in my village. Now, you know how the barbershop conversations is go.
Yep.
So I'm the barber making a little money because uh, the whole
Hey,
village
look, mom.
was,
Like my mom said, hello, boy. Hey, mommy.
uh, shout out to your moms, man. Um, I ain't seen your mom in a long while.
Yeah.
I only seen her in music videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where the writing shift, and that's how I started to do reggae. So and Cass, trust me,
But yeah, that one
this
now
is
go
where,
to ask, right? So, what kind of
mm,
in them days, bro? If you was singing anything or doing anything, you couldn't play the steel pan in the church. You couldn't sing
right.
reggae in the church. Soca was it had to be like slow kaiso soca to play in the church. It couldn't be high pace nothing.
Nothing, nothing.
What was the reception that you got, or I will even say backlash you got when you started singing gospel reggae music?
So you're looking at 93, 94, right? We ain't recorded yet or anything like that.
Mm,
We had this song called God is able, able to deliver all his people. Now, this was a singing song, but with a reggae beat,
mm,
right? Fire, bro. Fire. Like every church we go is, no, you can't sing that. You had to sing the songs that you used to sing in the past. All these different little things we would have gotten at that time. And then one guy by the name of Orson Niles, because I was writing stories, I wasn't writing. Now, Serious Time, even though people knew the song Serious Times way in 1997, 98,
yeah.
was really written all in 95. Real long. We was doing these things long time.
But
So
you just didn't put it
wasn't
out.
recording.
Right,
We was
right, right,
just
right,
in
right, right, right.
churches. So Serious Time was the story of, this boy named Kent. A
Yeah.
man tried this. Him skull get dent. Kent was a young boy. He didn't care about no man when he walk on the street with
Gun
his
in the
gun in his
sun.
hand. One day, he had this Christian bike passing by. All those songs were written like stories. So Orson's idea was to put drama
With the
to the
song.
song.
Okay.
That is what made the change, because the people who couldn't understand the reggae
They
now
seeing
were
it now.
able to visually see it,
Yeah.
and that's how the doors really open up. So now we start going to churches. We still getting fight. We
Yeah.
still getting a little stress. Now we looking at 96, 97. Other people start doing it with us. You had Big V, the South Side.
Mm-hmm.
You had what's them guy's name? Heavenly something. Uh, Melchizedek came. They came like around 97, 98.
Yeah.
So now we have other people doing it. Let me give you something that happened with us and Melchizedek. We got booked for a show.
Mm.
Remember, we from the east. This was quite somewhere far past point down on that area there.
See
This
Jurassic
church in
Kaka somewhere down there.
somewhere down there. When we reached the show, bro, the pastor realized who we were and said, no, 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 I don't want to send my church. So they had to move the whole song system from outside of the church, from inside the church to outside, because he didn't want
Wow.
any reggae or dancehall in the church.
Wow.
We had to wait. Other people singing, and we had to wait for us to sing, because all the people really came to see us.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we got real fight. And at that time, I was now not being, my grandfather was the New Testament bishop, and I was big in New Testament. So we used to do, I was traveling already.
Yeah.
So before Melchizedek reached, before anybody else reached, I was already doing Grenada, Guyana, different places, just by people word of mouth.
Yeah.
So radio wasn't the big deal. We didn't have a CD, just word of mouth. We went to Grenada one time, and this man called in the radio and say, why you all bringing this devil music into our country? Well, you should go back to Trinidad and stuff like that.
Ooh.
And then I tell the man, I said, let me tell you something. If you think it's devil music, come to the show, and after the show, come see me.
Yeah. Simple.
That's about 40 something youths gave their heart to the Lord. The man apologized.
Yeah.
You understand? Because now people start to realize is by the fruits you shall know them. You know what I mean? So it was a journey in terms of a toggle of getting people to accept it. Faith Assembly International, the same one we at now, who actually does most of the shows.
Yeah.
Smaller at that time, we get invited to a youth meeting. Now, we sing in serious time. This man stand up in the church and start to speak in tongues. The devil, music is in the air. I say, hush him out and sit down. Now, pastor son, I in church long days. So I not really careful. I say, all the young people inside of here who understand what I'm saying, raise your hand.
Everybody.
Every hand was raised. Is the fastest you see somebody come out of the spirit. You're in the spirit, but then you catch yourself and then come out of the spirit.
Bro.
You understand? And then we continue what we're doing. But those were the type of fights we used to get, bro.
One thing that I tell myself all the time, boy, Sherwin, boy, is that I never want to be that person when I get older. I don't want, because I feel like we keep going down the same road. Something changes, something the church adjusts somewhere, and it's a set of fight down. Like I'm very sure churches used to sing hymns alone at one point. Every church used to have a hymnal. That's where you used to sing from. And then, you started getting songs from like the Helen Baylors and these type of people coming in. And I sure they really singing these songs. I sure there was a fight to sing anything outside of the hymnal. So
church used to have a hymnal.
So then when it get to the point now where this is accepted and we start to sing our local music, now we started bringing the calypso. And I sure it had a fight again. And I feel like at every step, why we can't just be more accepting of changes? Because you can, as a body, if we don't adjust or make other methods to get people in to hear the word. This is why I just tell people, when it came to comedy showing, I get some burnout. People not directly like pastor actually telling me stuff, but I got like from people who, all right, so let's say you invited me to your church, right? And they tell me, hey, Kess, we having this thing coming up. Would you even come? I was like, yeah, no problem, I'll come. So they was like, all right, well, no problem. Let me organize with pastor and thing, make sure everything is okay. And we'll invite it to a meeting when we having, program, whatever. And then they would come back after and say, well, Kess, things will work out, blah, blah. And then sometime after, like, it probably bother them now. Kess, boy, pastor say, good night, Roxanne. Pastor say, it's because of the comedy thing, you're not supposed to be joking and stuff in church. Another pastor basically told me, this one, the pastor actually said it, that my hair, that he don't want anybody on his altar, any man on his altar that have hair on his head. And this was in 2018.
Wow, still?
Yeah. They did.
They
didn't invite Positive to the church to sing.
Because of that.
Because Positive have a ras.
So let me do two things here. To answer the first part of the question. Now, when you study music and you start studying it from the biblical perspective, and even if you're studying music from cultural, because I'm doing I'm actually in school right now doing my certificate and bachelor's in creative leadership. Most of these songs in the hymnal are actually R&B songs from those times that was remade to make it easy for people to learn it.
Yep.
So it come like if we take a song that we know is a popular R&B and we know everybody singing it, so we just change the words, which some people do. That is what most of the hymn book songs are. And if people go in depth in that, those are the same songs that they're using and real in the spirit. And they don't even know the original song was actually...
And they put it on this pedestal like it's this holy thing. And they don't know the origin of some of these songs.
The origin of it. The other thing now is let me put it this way. There's a difference between understanding the word of God and personality
Yep.
and what taste is. For instance, you in the roti gang.
You're a real
So this
smart
is
fella, no showing that. That's why they call it
best way,
the intellect, boy. That's why,
best way
boy.
I can explain. You might like chicken, shrimp, and goat more than anybody else. And one man go say, boy, you mad, boy, I can't eat no goat roti. Nothing wrong with the goat roti, but he can't eat it just because he don't like it. That is his personal view.
Yeah.
What happens in the church a lot of times is that we bring personal
Opinion
opinions
and claiming that is gospel.
that is
Yeah.
gospel. And that is what makes the difference there. So that's why the Bible says to study to show yourself approved, a good steward. So you have to know, as a person, understand that if God called you to do something, you can't just try to uh, pretend to do it without getting the knowledge of it. You have to know
Sherwin
the
Gardner says
knowledge.
supernatural dummies. Super spiritual dummies.
That's my sister.
Hey.
So
Nah, bro.
so
I get some fire for comedy. Last year, as I was telling you before we came on, last year we had this was the biggest Christian comedy show ever in Trinidad and Tobago. There has not outside of a church, um,
right.
have a Christian comedy show, and I felt like it was something that we needed, and it was evident by the turnout. People got turned away. The show was sold out, and they had to send people home. People came and,
Wow.
and, and couldn't get in because it had no more seats in the place. And thank God for that, yes. But it just shows that Christian people want somewhere that they could come and not have to
Okay.
worry about any profanity or any kind of slack jokes. They just want to come to a comedy thing that they could sit down and laugh and enjoy themselves. And the Bible tells you plain as day that you should laugh. There's no scripture that you could pull and tell me that Christian people not supposed to laugh. Even in the middle of trials, a good, well-timed joke could make your whole perspective on that trial change,
Right. Yeah, but all right. So this is a tricky thing. And I know a lot of people when they watch back this, they're going to they're going to really go deep in this one. But Jesus was one of the most entertaining persons when it comes to spreading the gospel.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Anybody who could spit on the ground. That's number one. Anyone, ye without sin, cast the first stone. Everything that he did, he didn't just do it in some kind of boring form. He was always very entertaining in terms of making sure that he engaged you,
Yeah.
get that message out. And that is what we fail to realize. Like, there are people who still argue that that you shouldn't engage people or entertain people to get the message out. And this is where the world is beating us. You understand? Because we forget that there is so much power in the name of Jesus, right?
Yep.
And once you really focus on God, you have the anointing, God give you a gift that is entertaining. So, for instance, Positive is super excellent at writing,
Yep.
at producing, and performing reggae, right? What engages you? You know why you like Positive? You didn't like Positive only because of his anointing. If he was singing off key, you wouldn't like him.
Yeah.
But he's entertaining. And then the anointing does the rest. Everything else is really God taking over from there. So he's using that gift. He's using the side of you that he gave you that is entertaining and engaging to people to draw them in. And then he allows his power to move from there. You understand? So that is something that is missing. So for you, and this is something we was talking about before. How, for me, I was trying to figure out how it's gonna be for a Christian comedian, because you have to balance clean jokes
Yeah.
versus the comedian who is
Could say anything they want, basically.
you understand what I'm saying? So as a Christian, how you balancing that?
So, as a Christian comedian, first off, controversial things is basically a no-no. Basically, you just have to stay away from certain topics, right?
Right.
Um, I can, because I grew up in church and because I know um what are kind of touchy topics in church. If I'm in a church setting and cracking jokes, there are some lines I could push a little bit, and but whereas somebody who is outside a church, they could just push the line and just make it funny. I have to push the line and then bring it back into something gospel or biblical. I can't just talk about tithes without bringing it back into something that you should pay your tithes, or talk about pastors in some way without bringing it back where I give pastors the recognition and the praise at the end of it. So it's like you have to be able to bring it back. Even though you push sometimes, you have to be able to bring it back into something that they will accept. Otherwise, you might get some fire too. Um,
Right.
the 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 most difficult thing I would say is getting getting people to accept. I can't even say accept, but to even give you a listening ear, boy. I feel like some people just so stuck in whatever mindset it is. I don't know, um, but I think that pastors are the first comedians in the church. Pastors do the same thing a comedian does. And I tell somebody that and they laugh at me already. I was like, no, it's the same thing. I say, if I have a set to do, I will think about different topics, a topic that I want to press on. Let me say I doing, like last week I did a marriage thing, right? So I was like, all right, cool.
Hmm.
Let me, it was our vow renewal kind of thing. It had like 10 couples there. So I say, all right, cool. Let me try to figure out, what are the topics I want to go into in this thing. Make it funny. Nice. So I figure out what topics I want to talk about. I plan my jokes around them. Practice. Go out there and deliver it. And the goal of the entire thing is to get people engaged with what you're saying, to listen to what you're saying, to get something funny, but there's always a deeper meaning in what I'm saying, right? So even though I'm joking about marriages and this and that and whatever, I'm talking about marriages, the message behind it is, that you could make your marriage fun. That was what I tried to get across. Marriage is something
Right.
that you have to keep fun and whatever. So that was the main topic behind all the jokes, to keep your marriage fun, right? And pastors do the same thing. Pastors will find a topic that might be probably a little touchy or whatever is the topic that they find. And they find ways now, because if a pastor just come up and just plain, basically just plain, not engaging, can't keep you. Why you think pastors just be and the Lord is to get people attention, no? That is all it
Exactly.
is to keep your
It's a,
attention. So if a pastor
right.
do have the ability to keep people attention and public speaking, and the ability to take it down a road and how you're thinking is this, and then twist it. If a pastor's doing that on the pulpit, and then you will tell me that I can't tell some jokes in your church when pastors basically do the same thing. It's an engaging thing. Well, this is from my point of view. it's
Right. Right.
it's
Right.
an
Yeah,
it's an
but
engaging
I,
strategy. The strategy you're talking
I,
about, and not the actual telling jokes,
right.
but the strategy is the same.
Yeah, but I think that most of the times, even with you, I've seen a few of your stuff. You still bring back the balance and always have a message or a point in it. So it definitely would fall in the same bracket. But boy, right now we definitely need some upliftment. You know what I mean? It's funny how the same people are gonna share a joke on WhatsApp though. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And it's the same people that will say they don't want Christian comedians, but they go sit down on Netflix home and watch Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart and all of these guys with cussing and whatever, and they will sit down and watch it home. But they wouldn't support a Christian comedian. And I find it real hip. That H word, this come back so much when it comes to talking about Christian people.
I understand what you mean. Well, it's a serious point. Let me just say for the side note, I think that Dave Chappelle is very entertaining but not funny.
What?
That's just
Come off my life.
yeah. That's hardly ever laugh, but that's just
Dave is the goat, man. Dave is the goat. Right, so continuing with the questions, bro. So you say you started singing when you were 5, right?
right.
Who was the person that really pushed you? So you say the granny.
My uncle at first, but then my mom would have been the one who stood because my mom would have been my manager for the majority of my younger career.
Okay.
So everywhere I go, my mom would have been there. My dad, rest in peace, who just died. He's a tailor, so he would have made all the clothes and all
Are
them
you
different
looking
little things
fresh?
and bro, I don't know if you ever see some of them old videos.
Yeah.
Them days pants was a serious thing. So we was using them big, humongous pants.
And you still don't have any size, so I can imagine how them pants was on you.
Actually, finally, I put on a little few pounds.
Thanks to
Uh,
COVID, probably.
when I left Trinidad, I was still my regular weight, which is 129. Now I'm 137. So God is good. I'm trying to reach up to 145. Again, there slowly. Slowly.
I can
You
remember.
can't even say it on this here
I
right now.
can't remember. I can't remember when last I was 130 something. To be very honest, I think secondary school. Secondary school, I was
Nah,
130 something.
I always was light. I get that from my mom. But yeah, my mom would have been the one who pushed me the most. But as a little boy, even as somebody in music, I was always how to put it, very, very aggressively pursuing God,
Yeah,
if you understand. So it wasn't necessarily that I was relying on anybody anymore. I understood that this is something God called me to do, and I just keep doing it, and I just end up being very good at it in in various different art forms. So soca music, reggae, worship, I was able to kind of get, for some reason, God just blessed me with our ability to be able to do all of that on that scale. So even I remember like when we started to do stuff like Youth Fest.
yeah.
We started to do secular stuff and get invited into secular events. The church was up against that to the max. One of the most funny things happened was when we did Real Unity with Marshall, right? Marshall wanted to have worship right before he come on, so he invited me. And the church that year, I can't remember what year it was, but that year the church fireburned that. I remember we going to the venue and people calling on the radio, they shouldn't be there, blah,
Oh, boy.
everything. Get the works. They really fireburned that. Then we sang, and when we were singing, this was a really unique situation, Kess, because I am on the stage, Carib girls in carnival costumes, and I'm singing Every Time I'm Down, Jesus Always Pick Me Up, and they're singing Every Time I'm Down. But what was the funny part is if you know the verse, you just go to church.
Yeah.
And by the time I needed joy, so I turned to my bassy and I say, look,
The singing, yeah, they know it.
they know the words. So it was people who was in church. So after that, what happened was we were right before Marshall. This is in the prime of this show. The last song we sing was Seek the Most High, where you're going to go when you die if you don't seek the Adonai, Jesus Christ. Now, this is all live on radio. Everybody could have heard.
Yeah.
And we left the show. As soon as we finished singing, we prayed. We prayed with some people there. And we went in the bus. We said we wasn't sticking around.
Yeah.
We left. We were we just reached St. James, and then we heard big thing on the news, the stage fall. Marshall just come on the stage.
Yeah.
The same people who was calling in and saying that we shouldn't be there now calling in and saying, I thank God that they were able to hear a positive message like that. You know, if anybody died, at least they had a chance to give their heart to the Lord and all of that. No, it had people who say so many things. And look how the seeds. This is how a chain reaction of blessings go. This was like about 5 years later. We went to the UK. It was myself, it was Chevelle Franklin, myself, and somebody else. I can't remember who it was. The full band. It was a big church, CCC or something like that. A huge church. And when we were there, this guy who brought us, oh, he wanted to talk to me for so long. And I didn't know why. So when he came, he said, man, I'm so happy that you're here. I've been always wanting to meet you, and I was the one who really wanted you to come, and the pastor approved it and whatever. So I said, you from Trinidad?
Yeah.
He said, yeah. He said, boy, let me tell you this testimony. In real unity, he was walking in the gate, and while he's walking in the gate, he started to hear hotter red fire, and every time I'm down, so he said to himself, boy, I trying to run from this, and I come into that. But he says he left and he didn't come inside. He had to go to England, went to England and decided that he's going to give his heart to the Lord and end up being the youth pastor in one of the biggest churches in
It's
England.
a seed. It's a seed,
So
yeah.
sometimes we don't, when we underestimate the power and the authority that we have in God, sometimes we really miss the mark. Because that one soul is all the way in another country, the youth pastor of a huge church,
Yep.
teaching, sharing to young people and encouraging young people. You know what I mean? So
It's take these things for granted, boy, showing, boy. I don't
a
know.
lot of time,
I don't know.
a lot of time we take it for granted.
So let me ask you this, right? We grew up in church, yes, showing, boy. We grew up in church, and your mom was a pastor. Your granddad was a pastor as well, you said, right?
Right, yeah.
So I can't say that my mom or dad was a pastor, but there's always a hierarchy in churches. Everybody know this. Come on. They're like the pastor and his family, and like the elders and bishops and whoever, elders and deacons and stuff. And then there would be like the families. There are certain families that closer to like the core families of the church. So I would say that my family, because we've always been involved with worship. Everybody in my family, either you play an instrument or you're singing, something like that. So we have always been at the forefront of any church that we ever been in, right? So I felt like I could have almost say that I was a pastor's kid. Pastor calls me his son. Pastor called Kieran his son. You know what I mean? So it's not, I could understand the struggles that pastors' children have or had.
Right.
So when I asked it, this is like, what was the most struggling thing for you? Because I could tell you, for me, I had some struggles. I had some struggles.
Right.
There was a time, late secondary school, I really didn't care too much about church. I was going because I was still living in my mother's house. You know what I mean? But the decision to really go all in and really lean into and press into God only came after. You know what I mean? So what was, or did you have a time like that, or what was the biggest struggle you had growing up in church?
Boy, growing up in church, this is Kess for the win. Yeah, this is a real good question. To think about growing up in church, I wouldn't say I had much of major struggles. I think the struggles for me came later on in life, because now growing up in church, you would have been very sheltered from a lot of stuff, like especially in depth like us. who really, really grew up in church. We church
Church
boys. We grew up
boys.
in never experienced going to the
I have
club,
never been to
never
carnival to this day.
carnival.
Never.
Telling people that even now,
Yeah, I
the
said
first
that in
time
a
I
comedy show
traveled,
last year and people laugh just me saying that.
let me tell you something. At that time, I had to travel to camp. I was going back to camp for something because I had to go home. And I had to travel through Carnival. And it was the most scariest. Is almost like you're in a jungle. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, what craziness is
Yeah,
this going on with these
yeah,
people? You understand? So, yeah, I think when you get a little bit older and then trying to experience um, life, more struggles would have come, making decisions and relationships and those kind of stuff would have been the thing. Because I was never one of those dudes in school who was afraid of identifying as a Christian.
yeah.
Everybody in my school, from little boy, know as a Christian. I sing in anthem. I sing in for everything in school. Everything is gospel, and I always was determined not to be a follower. So you wasn't going. I wasn't joining nothing. If you liming around me, you know you're going to hear about God. But no, I ain't not in. I wasn't one of those dudes who just little churchy. I was hard because I grew up next to Savannah.
Yeah.
It's seven of us. One Sherman, Sherwin, Sheldon, Shenway, Shekinah. Seven of us. So we grew up next to the grounds. We grew up in a village. But at the end of the day, I still know that from small, our mother instilled in us that we representing God, bro. We representing Jesus Christ. So in from school I was like that, and I think that most of my challenges in life would have been when you know become a big man and you know how to make decisions on your own. You
Yeah,
understand what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
I was technically on my own from 90. I was doing my own thing, going to studios. I was so focused on, because remember I was building, I had started Flowmasters Records as a teenager. It was first called Judah Songs, right? I was traveling to South with Divine Inspiration, uh, Quintessence, all these different groups we was pulling in from long days as a teenager when I was doing that. You know what I mean? So in those type of situations is when most of the challenges would come, because for me, even starting with the record label, everything was a learning process. So you had bad relationships, people who don't understand this, the business of it. We now learning. So it was backlash, back and forth, all different type of things before we really get to the point of really understanding what the business is.
Yeah.
You understand what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. I, I understand. I feel, but for me, secondary school was an escape for me. That is what it was for me. So, my family in Laramie is known as church people, right?
Right.
So, Kieran went to Benedict's right there. The church right in Laramie. Everybody in Laramie know we as church people. Die Nichols' grandchild, he is a church boy, right? But
Right.
going to a school that was out of the area, not even in San Fernando. I went to Composite, Faisal Composite. So, um, going to the school now, and it's like, hey, nobody knows that this is a church boy, Kess. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
uh, yes, I didn't do, you know, I wasn't excessive, and I will always say, like, I just tell people all the time, like, my thing in school, I never wanted to smoke. I wasn't on them. I wasn't on them strippiness. You couldn't catch me running away to go no bar or nothing. I just never was interested in those things. But
Right.
my thing over the years was, especially in school days, was girls. I That was my biggest thing. Girls. Um, yeah, I feel like I tell my business. That is all right.
Wifey listening,
Nah,
huh?
nah, she had to know all these stories before we married, man. Oh God.
All right, yeah, good guy.
But yeah. Over the years, my thing was girls, and I feel like it's only after as I say, like rededicating my life to the Lord, that I it took some time and a process to get back to a place where I could say now that I'm a faithful husband, because that wasn't the plan. You know, this married life thing wasn't the plan for me. In my
Right.
head, secondary school days, it was play yourself until probably 30, 40, and then probably look for somebody. But I I really liked having two girlfriends, one in Laramie and one in school. They don't know each other, they're far from each other. You know what I mean? It's like I played myself school days. Um, a lot of things happened, and well, even with talking with my wife and stuff, and even like after that period, I had to call people and apologize, like just out of the blue. I just call and say, hey, during that time in school, I know I wasn't the best person towards you and whatever, and I apologize just for my own peace. You know what I mean?
Peace of mind.
Yeah. So
Something like a AA meeting here, but
something like that, something like that. Uh,
right.
yeah, that was one of my biggest struggles in school. So, um, sex and all of that stuff end up coming into play. I remember this is how guilty I felt showing. So I did not wait until marriage to have sex. I sinned, right? God has forgiven me. Let me get that out of the way so the viewers would understand, right?
Right.
I felt so guilty showing when that happened. I went home and tell my mom,
Oh
I
Lord.
went home and tell mommy. I said, mommy girl, I just had the sex. Well, I didn't say it like that, but um, and we had to sit down and we had a long talk about consequences and Kess, you have sex with this girl. What if the girl is to get pregnant? You think you could mind a child at this age? She went that route before getting to the spiritual route. She brought up the consequences first, and that's what I could really appreciate about my mom. Um, she is not the one to just like beat you with words or physically. She's the one to make sure and explain to you why something is wrong first, and all the problems with what you think what you did before she get to the biblical thing. And yes, I will always tell people, correcting people could either make them better or make them worse. You correct
Exactly.
somebody the wrong way, and you could push them further away from what you want. So um
Yeah, but that raised the point for me as well, because even like in school, like funny enough, I didn't, when I was younger, we wasn't really into the whole sex vibes and stuff like that. So I lose my virginity very, very late in life.
yeah,
I think I was 21. So in school, as church, when I tell a church, that is what I said earlier. After, when you come big man, that is when the different
yeah, yeah,
choices
yeah.
come. My mother, because in school, it had real guys who was into the Rastafarian religion.
Okay.
So my mother could have sensed that even when I write and when I, at that point, even though the church was against, um, was really against reggae in church, one of the things I give my mother real props for is that she has still allowed us to do it. She allowed me to have that freedom to choose what I wanted to sing and how I wanted to sing it.
Yeah,
You understand what I mean? Not many parents, because in them days, if every pastor is against it, everybody will be against it.
yeah,
You understand what I mean? So to have parents who's able to see, well, wow, maybe this is what God telling him. And I was a very strong-willed guy, so it wasn't like, and these are the things that we get from our father. If you tell me something, I listen to you, but I ain't going. It ain't moving me if I believe that is what God said to me.
yeah, yeah,
Could be the biggest pastor in the world. If God has said to me what you saying to me, that ain't happening. Nothing. There's nothing that's going to change with regards to that. So, um, those are some of the things that I think that keep me stable, because even in my lowest point in life, I remember the church were really down on me because of decisions that I make, things that happen. Some things wasn't even true. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of things was just like stories, and I never defended myself. I just live and do I do for Christ. And in those moments, I remembered some of the most your friends or people who are not Christians, people who are not have nothing to do with God, are the ones that oftentimes be the
Most
ones
supportive. Yeah.
always checking on you, always supportive,
Yeah.
always there picking up the phone.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I mean? I was like, why is this even happening? Why is these people so concerned? And the people who you expect to be concerned,
Yep.
not around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But over time you learn and you understand that that was just plans and tricks from the
Yeah.
enemy. But Cass, imagine in this all my life of being into music, I've never left the church to do secular music.
Yeah.
Never. Even if I had to eat cricks and cheese, I'd eat cricks and cheese. Because for me, my mother, all it had times we get licks, and this is the scripture while we gain licks. What will it profit you to gain the world and lose it? Whap! Your soul. You understand what I'm saying?
Big up to moms one
So
time.
it's just like, yo, no, boy. I always felt like if I ever do that, boy, I wouldn't live to see, I wouldn't live long. You know what I mean? I just couldn't. I had secular songs written that could have gone out, and I just hold it back. And the worst thing about people who in the kingdom, when you go out in the world, for some reason your songs just be more ratchet than the people who was in the world forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Because boy, I tell you what I write in some songs, you would be like, nah, my God, nah, I would not be able to I would not be able to listen to that. You understand what I mean? But God just have a way of sometimes kind of testing your faith. And look, moving from there, being signed to, being able to pioneer gospel music, being able to have the opportunity to meet major gospel artists. Now, in 2021, I have a song coming out that I wrote for a major artist
Okay.
in gospel music. So to be this little boy from the bush in Trinidad, the little Brazil village, and now be in a place where you pioneer gospel music. I help arrange with one of Todd Delaney's new song coming out on his album with a reggae song that he actually did all the hookups for him in Jamaica, everything. So to see that God is able to do that, that's why earlier I think I said to you, we have no excuses now.
Yeah.
In the end, bro, we have no excuses. Up to us to really decide and to say, what will I say in the end? What will God say of you in the end? Yeah, bro, I fall plenty times. I hit my face. To me, them falls was busted with stitches.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the fact that you're still breathing, the fact that we still have breath means that we still have a chance to fix whatever broken pieces we have in your life. All the mistakes that you made in school made you who you are today.
For sure.
Made your comedy and your funny came from the experiences that you had in your life.
And it even helps me now to know not what to do. You know what I mean? It's like it will
Right.
make me treat or appreciate when somebody actually treats you well now. You know what I mean? So um, any situation in life, if you don't learn from it, you that was just a waste of time, you know. It was a waste of time and you didn't really understand what you went through that for. God does put you through things. A lot of people don't get that to know. God does allow things to happen to you. Look at the entire book of Job. God allows things to happen to make you stronger.
My sister give the other scripture there. To whom much is given, much is required. That was one of the main ones when we get in Nixbro. That scripture there, that one there, boy. I remember that one, man. Let me tell you a joke.
Tell me.
So when I was going, I went St. Augustine Senior Comprehensive, right? So what used to happen is like sometime I go, when I come home from school, I take up my guitar and I just sing it in my bedroom. And my little sister, she kind of the smallest one, she used to come and sing with me. But we used to play football. I played for my school, my brother played for school, and at that time it used to have a league, a league in Brazil with teams from all over. So one evening, this team was short of players and called me and my brother to come and play.
Yeah.
Your boy gone, man. Your boy gone. Played a little football. And when I come home, I gain licks. What? Who tell you to go and play football? You, I tell you, you're supposed to be playing your guitar every evening. But, bro, here's the funny thing about it, right? She never told me to play the guitar. The guitar was my thing, but because every week it been so consistent, she thought it was something that she
She
told me to
should,
do. We
yeah.
got licks for that. No, don't, why you
Oh,
going and play football? You're supposed to be playing guitar.
well, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So back in them days, don't play. Don't
Couldn't
play with,
play,
with
couldn't
parents.
play. I I remember
Mhm.
secondary school. Some friends tell me, boy, it had some party like a fete. This is the only fete I've ever been to in my life. Um, at the bottom of San Fernando Hill. Can't remember what it was, right? But it was a group of friends from school. The chain map by showing by the chain map to go to fete with them.
Right.
Tell my mother going by a friend, wherever. Gone by the friend. We end up changing clothes there. You know you have to change your clothes, can't leave home. So change clothes wherever I go on the fete. And I inside this place, boy, and I feeling like, why am I here, Kess? What you doing here? You understand? It's like, why am I here, Kess? Wherever. I was supposed to leave the fete, right? To go back home. I was supposed to leave probably like 12 o'clock or something to go home. I didn't plan on staying there whole night. Every time I try to leave, my friends and them like, nah, boy, we like, man, la, 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 la. Real, chain up. Show it, boy. Chain up. You know what time I reach home, showing? 5 o'clock in the morning. I walk in, coming inside. And I want you
Wow.
to know that Sharon, my mother, was sitting waiting on me
At 5 o'clock.
5 a.m. She said that she did not sleep. She was uneasy whole night. And of course, I wasn't answering phone and I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
answer my
Yeah.
phone.
Afraid.
So she uneasy whole night that she stayed up praying because the Lord told her to pray for me. And and at that point, she asked me if I was by my friend. And of course, at that point, you can't lie. At that point. So explained to her what happened. I was in a party, whatever. And she told me at that point, if that is to ever happen again, where I lie to her like that, and I go to a party, that I will meet my stuff outside when I come home, whatever hour. It that simple. You can't stay here if you want to go parties. You can't. I remember I joke with she at time. I joke with she and tell she, hey, mommy, I'm gonna pierce my ears. I tell she I'm gonna bow my ears, mommy girl. I come home and meet bag her clothes in the gallery. She take out all my
Oh,
clothes from my wardrobe and put it in a garbage bag, bro.
oh, Jesus.
Telling you, she put my clothes in a garbage bag and had it in the gallery waiting for me.
Yeah, no. Them was the days. These youths here don't know about
I
that. They will call police.
for sure, for sure. Can't do them thing nowadays. So let me ask you this when it comes back to the music now. Um,
Hmm.
there must have been some other influences when it comes to you and your sound. Uh, secular or otherwise, who were some artists singing that influenced you?
All right, so I think what one of the balances that I have is I have always liked gospel. When I say gospel, a lot of people don't understand the genre of gospel. So gospel music is Byron Cage, um, Kurt Franklin, Fred Hammond, stuff like that. That's the sound of gospel in terms of the genre.
Yeah, yeah.
So talking about the message, just the sound of gospel. I always was into gospel sound. So I like progressions, I like big runs, I like big band song. You understand what I mean? But when it comes to stuff like reggae, I always like Anthony B. And because I could sing, a lot of people used to feel like I sung like Sizzler in the early days.
Yeah.
When really, actually, I really didn't like Sizzler as more Anthony B fan. So I used to more do chatting singing rather than singing on reggae or them kind of crazy little high runs and stuff like that. But
I could
the
see
main
why they thought Sizzler though. I could see it.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understood why too as well. You know what I mean? But what ended up happening if people really check and listen to the albums from the past, there was so much influences or mixtures of songs in terms of gospel and reggae that gave me my own identity. So eventually, who I am now and what I do now is just me being able to blend everything. You understand what I mean? Even with soca, it's so funny. In 2001, we went to something in Jamaica. Uh, they used to have on the first, I think it was Youth for Christ.
Yeah.
And it, the band, it was me and the band. And those days, I was already done using progressions in dancehall.
Mm.
When I say progressions, so even if we doing hotter red a fire I go burn for all the Babylon, oh yo, judgment day you hide from King Jesus, dun, 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 dun. All those things we were doing. When we went to Jamaica, bro, they was watching us like we crazy. Like, what are you all doing to the dance
Yeah,
hall?
yeah.
In their mind, because that wasn't something they were doing at that time. It was mainly loops. It wasn't like, no
Yeah.
runs. It was crazy. Talk now or talk 2004. What started to happen?
Of course.
Everybody started playing tracks. And it's the same thing with soca. You understand what I'm saying? So gospel music in Trinidad and Tobago was pioneered the Caribbean every form. Even so, the soca music that we hear in Trinidad and Tobago now, we've been doing that type of soca in gospel since 2001.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been playing progressions and bars, and I remember the pilgrimage. First time we started using tracks in pilgrimage because I had the same manager as Dietrich had me.
Yeah.
So Dietrich showed us how to use tracks. People in the engineers, the gospel engineers, mad because we using a computer. The people in the crowd was confused, like why they have a computer as well? Because it's the first time it's being done. This is like 2002s and stuff like that. You understand? The next year, ask me what happened.
Computer on stage.
Everybody doing it. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was we was pioneering these things because I was already done traveling to the US. I was signed to Lion Zion Entertainment. So I was around a lot of major acts and I was like, wow, that is why them singing so full and we singing so
Yep.
small. Because we didn't know that they playing with the band, but they actually have all the elements from the real song. You understand what I mean?
Like even
So
click track and stuff with like all the extra fills that your band
everything,
can't play on stage. You know what I mean?
everything was in the click
Yeah.
tracks. You know what I mean? Then one of the persons who really pushed the limit for us too is when JD got saved too. And when JD got saved, and that would have been I think 2001, because the first show I brought JD on would have been uh, my show called Shiloh. That was the biggest show I had. We had a little over 10,000 people in the gym
What
pier
are we talking
in
about?
2001. And the first time JD came on stage, that's when he now come off the year of singing, hey yo, look how the people whining low. He moved from being that JD
To gospel.
into gospel JD next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was another in terms of things that really happened that was significant to the uproar. Guitar, Tico, Guitar rest his soul. Guitar went to school with me. Tico went to school with me. All of us went St. Augustine Senior. And I used to just see walking in Arima, going home. Guitar used to be standing up on the drags, singing, and that's how they give him that, calling him guitar, guitar. And I just bring him up Brazil one day, and I say, bro, now you have a gift. You have a gift. And then every show I go, Tico and Guitar, I would introduce them before me. A lot of people didn't realize that, and that's how they become a part of the Flow Masters. Then Monty and I connected in 1999. When we connected, we created, it was no longer Judah Songs, because Trinidad was Judah Songs and they were Lion of Judah. Urge, and we became Lion of Judah Songs as one. And then Monty and them start coming to Trinidad. We start doing the Tico and Guitar, Sodom and Gomorrah album. And all these things is just the things that started to transcend. So then we started with Christ Dimension. We started with Quintessence. We started with Ninja. We started with everybody, everybody. And that's how everybody, yeah, we talking about guitar. We calling him guitar because we are custom team, but Guitar Dan is who we speaking about. So when he start Flow Masters, well, we start Flow Masters in 2001. So we move away because we wanted to have our own identity. But and plenty names I call. You probably don't even know Lady Nicole. Because them the rhythms. We's doing real rhythms. So it was Lady Nicole. Then in the later half, Mr. Danny came on. Um, Cohen Duncan, Bring Down album. Phenomenal album. One of the best albums we had with the best responses would have been Tico and Guitar album, and also Cohen Duncan Bring Down. When Cohen did Bring Down, Cohen was everywhere. Cohen was Barbados. He was everywhere. We were going everywhere and stuff like that. So that was in that was the later half though. That would have been the 2004, 2003, 2004. Um, and then I left Trinidad, and that is when things kind of shifted. But is this is a years of really doing this, and I think God kind of made me shift because in normally I would do an album every year. So every year I do one album, and then when 2003 hit, I just was focusing on everybody else and not necessarily focusing on me. Um, and I felt the rebuke, and I felt the weight of that. Um, Dealing with Mr. Danny, doing the JD album, Mention was a big part of it. Mention was my best friend, so me and Mention riding everywhere. Mention, then Tremaine, his wife came in. And it's just a whole, it was plenty youths. As once you had a talent and a gifting in that time, we just used to try to just bring you in the camp, you know what I mean, and push. And then when I came back to Trinidad in '09, that's when I met your brother. Uh, and then I started to work with Jay Prince, Kieran, and that's the new wave of it. You know what I mean? So it's been quite some years of really doing music, still doing music. I'm still writing a lot. I'm doing a lot of writing for people. I did most recent from Trinidad would have been Promise the Band from Tobago. Uh, yeah, so I'm doing a lot of writing for them. So a lot of their new songs would have been songs that I write. So all the songs that I'm not doing now because I'm doing praise and worship, all the dancehall and all the soca are writing for other people.
But we wanna hear a little thing, boy. Show it, boy. We have to. All right. So even if you do the album, you have to give me one in the album showing, boy. You can't just.
One.
No, I mean like generally no. If you're doing a worship album, you have to give you at
No,
one
no,
at least one throwback in it, boy.
nah, the new album have have surprises. I can't tell the I ain't tell, I could tell you these surprises, but I can't tell
All right,
everybody.
all right, all
When
right.
it costs, they will just hear it. You understand what I mean?
So
They
somebody
will
was
just hear it. So
asking earlier about the story of JD and JD getting saved.
yeah, no, JD got saved because of his pastor at that time. The pastor, I can't remember her name. I think she passed away. But he met this pastor and then he started to basically uh, go to church and he got that conviction and whatever. So one day I got a call to meet him at Central Bank. Um, and when I went to Central Bank, I met him for the first time. I knew he was because of AEO and all those different things. You kind of know the soca. And then from that minute forward, Jamie went with me. It was me and Jamie Thomas. We started talking and hanging, and then we did listen to me. And he had another song he did before listen to me. And from there, JD just transformed his life, and that's how that came to pass. But it was it most of that was accredited to the pastor.
All right.
Um,
Katya and Samaru.
Katia and Samaru, that was her name. Is she still around?
I really think that she passed away. I think so.
Yeah, but that is the she is the one who was really mainly yeah, like my mom know her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, was part. Yeah, she was the one who really, because they were doing something there. Jamie and I went. We started to talk to him, and then he started to change his whole life around, and we started to roll. We were boys for long time, you know what I mean? And to date, he just did one of the mixes, some Sunday school remixes. To date, we still hanging, you know what I mean? So that was a unique situation.
Yeah.
Somebody said, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was responsible for that movement in Arima.
So this young fella started singing 5 years old. Now how old should it
41, bro.
41?
Yeah,
Yeah,
41.
you could go back in secondary school, but all right. So from the time you started singing, right, and seeing the industry grow, I feel like you could almost be seen as the grandfather or the father of the type of gospel music that we have in Trinidad now and in the Caribbean. So for me, it's like, are you proud of the direction that you're seeing gospel going in Trinidad?
Um, yeah, because honestly, so it's two sides, and I'm going to be very real because the only way people could learn, I believe, is by hearing the truth, right? So there's two sides to it. One of the things I'm proud of it with Trinidad and Tobago is the maturity in the sense that there are ministers. Like when God shifts somebody, He's just send people in place. I believe blessed is me to Trinidad in the sense that what Blessed sing, the depth and the aggression that comes with it, I'm very, 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 very um, proud of what I hear. Positive is also one of the guys who I'd say consistently become a mature person in Christ in terms of what he writes. But there's also the people who are very much into entertaining,
Yeah.
right? And whether they like it or they don't like to hear it, and if somebody after watching this video feels conviction, then they would be one of the persons who need to check themselves. Anytime you feel conviction by what I want to say, if what I'm going to say here don't affect you, that's fine. Then you good. But God is not a God who runs by the seasons of Trinidad and Tobago,
Yeah.
right? God is a God who basically, when He give you a song to sing, sing the song.
For sure.
If God gives you a song, like for instance, um, and I'll say this in the nicest way as possible. Carnival is a big thing in Trinidad. And I was never one who was going to follow the fact that Carnival is out. It means I need to sing a soca. That to me is not, that is following seasons and not following the voice of God.
Yeah.
If God tell me while Carnival going on to sing a worship song, that is what God tell me to do. I have to be obedient to that. You understand what I mean? But anytime we come in by seasons as the church, now, I'm not saying that there won't be ones who God gave the soca songs. All
Yeah.
I'm saying is, if you feel conviction by what I'm saying, check yourself. That's all I say.
I like your
Because
disclaimer.
at the end of the day, one of the things that have you as a young man who not even from, you wasn't even born in that era where I was very, very popular or doing I Worship You, but you still know I Worship You. It means the song lived forever and it's living forever. It have places say, I go in the world. And once I say, sometimes I sit and think about all that you've done, English and Spanish people continue singing. It was because when that song was written, it was written out of a place of hurt. I was in the Bahamas. I flew in to do a show, and the church burned down. And Mr. Links and I had to walk from house to house to put a system together. And when we put the system together, I had to go and engineer and sing at the same time, me running back and forth on a stage. And then after I went by Monty, and I sit down and I get a, with all of my heart and all of my soul, because I say to myself, well, boy, you
Pressure.
have to love God to go through this. You
Yeah, yeah.
understand? So the songs that live forever, Hotter Red Fire, I go burn. And them songs that popular like Gotta come in any minute, anytime now. So where you gonna run? Where you gonna hide now? That's so big in certain countries. Is hurt. I My friend who I went to school with, I met him while I was traveling. Met him, he was working in the airport. And I can remember, if I don't know if you remember it, at a time years ago, a guy got stabbed for mashing somebody clocks.
Yeah. I heard
When
I,
I
I heard
when
about
I,
that.
when I tell him, I was in the airport, I say, bro, hear what? When you're coming back to church, you know what he said? I have time. So that is what this song was written from. And I gotta come in any minute, any time now. So where you gonna run? Where you going? I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
You is who I'm talking to. God is calling you. So when you start to understand, and this is what I learned as a little boy, when you start to understand that this is not about me and it's not about the crowd, it's about what God, I am the vessel that He's using, so I need to hear from Him as into what to write to people. That is not seasonal.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not seasonal for me. I love Christmas, but this Christmas, God didn't give me a Christmas song, so I'm not gonna write a Christmas song.
Yeah.
But He gave me a song 2 days ago to tell somebody something that was just seriously, I believe, is needed. Because every time I wake up, Cass, I hearing this song in my spirit, and then I say, well, God, all right, it in my spirit, let me just finish write it. Call a producer. I didn't want to produce it, and I sent it to this producer to produce because I wanted a different song of this particular message. You understand? So again, that is where I am with the gospel in Trinidad. I think that we have excellent talent. I think that we have powerful ministers. I think we have powerful worshipers. I love Samuel Dyer.
Yeah.
That is my bread. Powerful. He always in tune with the worship. And when you're in tune, sometimes it doesn't make you popular.
True.
You
True.
understand?
True. So just
And
to
I,
just to show you how impactful the ministry that you've done over the years has been to my family, right? This is my mother's comment. Sherwin, I used to admire you on stage because she used to drag us to concerts. My mom was
right.
a concert goer. She loved music. So she says, I used to admire you on stage and pray that Kieran would be able to sing like you. This is my mom's comment. That's just to show you how your work has even transcended your age, because my mom is a lot older than you, and seeing your talent, your ministry being displayed, she could have looked at her son and say, "Hey, I want my son to be able to do that." You know what I mean? And it again, it just comes back down to for me, it feels like a real gratitude for the years that you've put into this. Um, like watching over your videos and thing and the songs that on YouTube showing is like things that other artists in Trinidad probably now hitting when it comes to like numbers on YouTube. It's like you was doing this 10 years ago. 10,
Right.
15 years. YouTube now start and your songs have 500,000 views on it. You know what I mean? It's crazy that I am even talking to you right now because you are somebody that I grew up looking at. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's it really is a pleasure and an honor to even to say boy I could message Sherwin and I could organize to have him on my podcast. Like I feel honored to have you here with me.
But you're a brethren, man. You're
And
a brethren. I come and eat your food and thing.
I know that, but that was it. I am thankful. I am thankful.
Right.
Um and again it's like I have seen when you say I was a baby, I know you're singing on stage. I don't know that I so young. I know you're singing on stage, but I
Right.
feel like if we can show gratitude to the people who have um set things in motion and again I think every singer in this generation that's singing anything right now gospel, they have to give it up to you. Have to, because you broke some barriers, you paved some roads,
And
yeah.
and let me say something to you, Kess. And the purity of this is that uh, with or without it,
Do
and
it
this is
still.
one of the uh, I am not doing it for accolades. What is most important to me, bro, is souls and how people respond. And now where I am now, in terms of what I do as a worship leader and understanding this, I think that me hearing it sometimes, or even when people say, "Well, you're a legend," or this or that, or something, it don't really faze me in any way because for me, boy, what if after all of this we still go to hell, bro?
True. True.
You understand what I mean? Well, that means it's good because yeah, I won a lot of awards. I've done a lot in terms of my bio is huge, but God didn't really care about my bio if I'm not living the right
True.
life. You understand what I mean? So um, I would say thank you, but at the end of the day, what I want to leave with people is the fact that we need to be more conscious and more in tune with God as ministers because we are not representing the world, we are representing the kingdom. And to represent the kingdom means we're representing the king first,
True. True.
right? So if we're representing the king first, then we're representing the kingdom after because then we're representing everybody. And once you understand what the king wants and what he desires, then you understand why it is Sherwin Gardner still around after 35 years
Hmm.
of being on stage, 36 actually, of being on stage, because I understand that
Just
it's a
for reference, people, I am going to be 30 next year.
right. So, so yeah, it's a serious thing, but I want to clarify what I was saying earlier too with regards to Trinidad. So I'm not, and I ain't trying to put down anybody. You know,
Yeah.
all I was trying to mainly say is that I want to reach to the point whereby we could hear like so I was that today? It was yesterday. I was driving and I was listening to a worship song from Kevin Dunswell, and then a song from Blessed came up. Never heard it before. It's the first time I ever heard this song in my life. In my car, when this Blessed song came up, right?
Mm.
I say, whoa, this me showing God now. I like, whoa, this man going hard here, boy. Like this is real. This is a vibe.
Yeah.
So the song over and over and over, right? And I have it in my history. And I was like, yo, this hard, like you know the song hard as in it good,
Yeah, yeah,
but I understand the heart behind the message.
yeah.
And it have some songs I hear and I just saying to myself, yo, listen, this gonna play on radio for 2 days and then nobody's gonna remember this. It have no because I could understand the intent. The intent is to just get people to dance and not necessarily to hear. We in a pandemic, boy. We in a pandemic. You as a comedian, you ought to be relevant. You can't be a comedian who out of tune with what happening in the world right now.
For sure.
As a comedian, you when you're writing your jokes, I'm sure you thinking about what happening in Trinidad,
In the
what
world.
going on. Like even today, um, I saw something just now, and I know every comedian in Trinidad is going to definitely pick up on this funeral home
Yeah.
uh, situation. That is going to be a big
Yeah,
topic,
well, right before
right?
we came live, I posted a status saying, "This is my will." That, I want everything to go to my wife and my son. Two things I want in my will. Firstly, everything to go to my wife and my son. And secondly, to put me sit down with a roti in my right hand. Like, that's all I want.
Right, you got right.
That's all I want.
Understand exactly. So it's just like that. That's how the kingdom work. You
Yeah.
gotta be relevant.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody's
Uh,
asking how you ended up leaving Trinidad.
that's a whole life by itself. But mainly because God just shifted me in a time, and I've always been one who believes that everything or anything that we do for the kingdom is a borderless thing. And at that time, I felt like I did so enough that I needed some other people to grow and take that spot. And then when I left, it was me maturing. And because when I left Trinidad, I went to the States, then I went to Antigua. That helped me transition to be who I am now as a minister. But that is in a nutshell.
All right.
It could be a little bit broader than that if I go a little bit deeper. So two things, Kes, before we wrap up, because I know I'll wrap up soon.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
first thing is, can you make roti? Because if you're in this roti gang and you can't make roti, we have an issue.
Sherwin Gardner. You have a middle name?
Right.
Sherwin Gardner. Um, how you want me to just let you know? Yes.
Yeah, I need to look at.
Yes, Sherwin.
Good.
I can make uh soft and silky paratas. Just last week Sunday I make a cooler roti.
You could ask my mom, she on the live, or my sisters if I could make roti. They will answer it for you.
Mom, you had to let me know, no, cause this boy can't be trained talk for me.
They could even
I
answer in that for you.
showing
Let them
showing
answer.
sisters, Shuma and who are getting on right now. All you need to let me know.
I If it's one thing, when we come Trinidad, we gotta do a little
Yes,
cookout.
yes, yes.
You
I feel
understand?
so.
One thing I could do is cook. I ain't worried about that one. So that's the first thing. And the second thing
Mm.
is, so if it's not 2020, 2021, I need you to be a part of my first stand-up. So I was watching something yesterday, right? I had a show in Brooklyn in 2018. And after the show, everybody in Brooklyn was
Look your
see
look
what
your mom say.
roti,
Roti,
bread,
bread
and
and cake.
right. So when I was watching back, boy, let me tell you something. I make spontaneous jokes. Well, you would probably know because you see very quickly, all the
Yeah.
time, all the time, all the. But now I actually decided to write it and do it properly. So that is one of my bucket lists as I get older to do a stand-up comedy show, and I had you down as one of the persons to be on it. So you had to look out for
That's
that.
not a problem
And
at
I'm doing
all.
it as a documentary. I'm doing it as a documentary because I had to sit down with you guys and we had to go through this process together and stuff.
Not a problem at all, bro. But if I could probably give some advice when it comes to comedy. What I can tell you about it. If this is the first time you're trying it, write down everything, every idea that you have. Write it down. Um,
Because you could, yes, forget
yeah, you
sometimes.
just forget. You're in a car and something funny happened. I was like, yo, this would be really cool if you had to send a voice note to yourself, something that you keep the idea, um,
Okay.
and categorize it too.
Yeah, because it's not like music. Once I hear a song in my
It
head,
will
like
stick.
once God plays a song in my head, it'll stick. Now with comedy, as I keep saying it over and over and over.
Yeah,
Like let me show you like being here, right? You know, Trinidad, we just say it had water in that fridge there.
yeah, yeah.
So foreigners is like, what is it? When you say it, what is it? What does it have water in the fridge? What is the it? It is the fridge. It have water in the fridge. It is the fridge. Every Trini understand that. It has certain things. It's only now, being in the Bahamas, I get to understand that it have certain things we say. Like Bahamas, they say this thing called tingam, right?
Mm,
So tingam is like we saying, how to put it? That thing there now, boy. You
yeah.
understand? But you understand what the thing is, even though you didn't say what the thing is. They just
The thing
say the thingam now. The Yesterday I was by the thingam. When I first came, I couldn't understand how everybody who they say it to understand what the thingam is, and I don't understand. But then I had to look at it from a Trinese perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
It has certain things we say is does be real wildness too, bro.
Trinis, I feel we were known for some sayings, but just making up things. We usually make up
No, but
things.
you wouldn't realize if you're talking Trini to Trini.
Yeah, yeah.
But from the time you're talking to a foreigner and they lost, they're like,
What
yo,
was that?
what? What what do you mean? Like then you realize, well,
You have to explain
yeah, this
yourself.
really
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, this really is not a correct sentence at all as a Trini
Find
at all.
another piece of advice showing. Find a
Mm-hmm.
group of people. It don't have to be plenty. It could be
Right.
two people. It could be one person that will be brutally honest with you.
With your jokes, right.
Brutally honest. I
I feel like Kevin Hart needed that on his last special.
brutally honest with you, bro. Brutally honest. This need a little tweaking. It's funny, I see where you want to go with it, but this is not it. Much time my wife tell me that. My wife, my wife is at the point right now where, uh, for me, if I tell my wife a joke, and she just sitting down and take it in, and you see her just probably smile at the end, that is a real good joke. That is a joke that can mash up crowd.
Right.
But if it's like she just taking it in, and to me, in
And
my head, I cracking up, you know what I mean?
and
She was saying,
she ain't really get
mm, you know, this I seen where you're going at it, but I think, this needs some help. I think you need to rephrase this, or, so find some people that you could sit down in a room with and tell your jokes. Don't just read it out, or like, word for word, but
like if it's on a
tell your
show.
jokes to them. Tell it the way you would tell it, because comedy is a full body thing. Some people could do it just sitting down, or just standing still if that is the style, but comedy it very involving. So you had to, yeah, movement, your hand movement, your facial expression, real important too. So it's like, use everything you could use for comedy. I just sing in my comedy. A lot of the parodies just come down, like, so I told you I did the wedding thing uh last Sunday, right? um I do this song for marriages, and is a parody of a popular song. So I say, all right, so tell me, guys, tell me, I like this song, I remix this song. Tell me if this best describes your marriage. Let me know if this describes your marriage. And there's a part for the woman and there's a part for the male. All right. So tell me, guys, The closer I get to you, the more you make me feel like strangling you tonight. That feeling is so real. Oh, oh. Why I forget my own song? Where's this? Oh, I asked you before I came home. Are you hungry? You said no. How about we make a deal? I know what you know what I want, so girl, stop playing with me. I know you're hungry. So it's like a back and forth between the man and the woman, and it's like you had to use everything you could use in comedy, bro. Serious, serious. So
Right.
don't shy away from the singing too. Use it.
No, no, no. One of these days I'll be do a Zoom call and I'll get some of them and you'll tell me what you
No
think.
problem, no problem.
So,
So like locally, I
yeah.
have a group of comedian friends, um,
Mm-hmm.
and we trash out a lot of things together. Sometimes well, before COVID, we used to meet up and like have writing sessions and stuff. So if I have a joke and I think it probably not as funny as it should be, we could work it out. Somebody could get a different perspective on something, all of that. So yeah, having some people that you could throw it out to and hear, real important. And don't throw away jokes. Don't throw away jokes unless it's like utter nonsense. Like if it don't work at all,
Let's try to fix it.
jokes could be fixed, bro. And jokes get better over time. It's just you can't really tell the same joke for years and years and years, but jokes get better over time. If it's something about the US that they have that I'm jealous of when it comes to living in a small country like Trinidad, is that by the time I tell a joke for a year, I think most venues
People,
or there's at least somebody in the crowd that probably heard this joke. You know what I mean? And
right.
comedy is about the surprise. So yeah, if you hear a joke once, twice, three times, you might
Right.
still laugh, but the laugh would be less and less every time you hear it. So yeah.
Right. Unless it's extremely, extremely funny.
I have a joke about my
Right.
extra finger that people tell me that it don't matter how much times they hear it, they laugh. I love
Oh.
that joke too.
All
Yeah.
right, cool.
So bro,
You got to do this again,
yeah, for sure. It really was a pleasure having you on tonight. Thanks again for accepting the invitation. I
man.
looking forward to the comedy show. And I hope somehow it work out that when you're ready to do the show, I could do my show around the same time so that you'll be here. Um,
And got a little set. I got a little comedy set.
Come up and tell a little jokes, man.
I have some good. I have some. I could do. I could do about 30 minutes right now of material, and I feel like I could go 45.
You see, tell us the joke about the extra. But Mark, I know this person. Mark, I think you hear this joke already, Mark. So why are you doing my that?
Yeah, he sing. He sing. I know. He sing.
Yeah, Mark is a pretty talented guy. He wrote a song that I really liked. I can't remember it right now, but I hosted an event that Mark performed in, and there was this song, boy, and I really liked it, Mark. Big up to Mark Howell, Paul. But yeah,
Yeah. Shout.
um,
Yeah, I see some of his work. So shout out to you. And encouragement coming here
but you
from SG.
as we closing off showing, what advice you would give
Mhm.
to somebody like Mark? You're starting off singing. You want to get more involved in ministry. You want to, or you're probably singing in your church and you want to step out. You want to write your own music. You're getting inspiration for songs. What are these
Main,
steps you would tell them?
main advice right now I tell anybody is relationship first. And when I say relationship first, because of who we represent, we have to know what we're saying, and we can't just be a gospel artist or decide to be a gospel artist just because and we just singing positive songs. You know your wife. So you see how earlier you was explaining about your wife, that if you see a particular expression from her, you know that nah, it ain't too funny. You
Yeah.
understand? And that comes with time and relationship. Um, if I let's say me and your brother, if I send your brother to buy something to drink for me, I'm 100% sure he's gonna bring back a Red Bull for me because he knows we're friends for so long that he know that yo, that's what he like. Um, it's the same thing with God. A lot of times, a lot of us try to speak for God, but we don't really know Him.
Yeah.
And if you gospel, you have to have that relationship whereby you could actually hear from God to be able to be a voice of God. You can't be a voice of somebody, or I can't speak on your behalf, Kess, if I don't know you.
True.
You understand what I mean? What's Kess' favorite color? Well, he be maybe green because he be on a green screen. No, that's not. It don't have to be that. I have to know Kess to understand what it is required to speak on his behalf.
Yeah.
So any one of us who trying to speak for God, make sure we have that relationship, make sure we close there, make sure we in the word. We want to learn more, know more, get more from God to be able to really speak.
Great advice, bro.
Yeah,
Great
man. Yeah, man.
advice.
Bless. Thanks again for having me. People, you all could follow me, Sherwin
For
Gardner
sure.
Music. I do we had a live today. It's still up on my page for a few more hours, so you can check it out. It was a time of worship. My church had 25 years anniversary, so I did a live today with my pastor, midday praise. So you can check out that as well. And blessings to you, Kess. Well, even before I go, let me just say a prayer. Father, I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for Kess and what he's doing. I pray a blessing over him, over his family, over his life. And I pray, God, that you continue to use him as he continue to do these lives, as he continue to press forth. I pray that you be his Jehovah
Yes,
Jireh,
Lord.
his provider. Every need and everything that he have, you will supply it, oh God. You will be a healer to his family, to his child. I pray that you bless them as a family unit, bless them and continue, God, to just pour out your anointing over their lives. And I even pray for protection in this time of COVID. Everyone on this live,
Yes,
oh
Lord.
God, even my family who's gone and everyone else, I pray that you bless them, cover them, and keep them, oh God. Because you're a mighty God. You're able to save, you're able to heal,
Yes, Lord.
you're able to do wonders. And that's why we give you praise. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Sherwin, brother. Thank you for coming on. Um, I can't wait till you're here and we could actually, well, after you go through your quarantine time and whatever. But
Yeah, I know Trinidad. I didn't do the 14. I didn't do the whole 14
yeah,
days. Right
yeah.
now, China. So yeah, we definitely would
Yes,
link up.
brother. Thanks again for
All
coming
right.
on. Blessed night to everyone. Before we go again, make sure and check out on Instagram Mercury Tech 868 for all your uh, little tech gadgets. And thanks again so much for everyone for coming on. And I really appreciate it. I hope you guys come on next week. Next week, we are talking about customer service in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm sure you guys don't want to miss that. So remember also to go over to the YouTube channel. The link will be posted below where you could actually subscribe. I'm not going to leave the lives on Facebook for more than 2 days. All right. So if you want to rewatch the stuff after, you're going to have to go over to the YouTube channel. All right. So again, guys, thanks so much for coming on. It really was a pleasure having Sherwin, and the conversation was great. I love all plenty. Remember that God is the boss, and that's no joke. This is your boy Kess Ramsey. I love you guys. Blessings.